Evening all. Right, I think we're live. Just about. Good evening, welcome to Talk Fishing Live, episode 6. It's 8 PM on Wednesday night, and it's time for another hour-long live stream talking about fishing. So these have moved over from the Carp YouTube channel to this Northwest Carp channel, so this is where we are from now on. I can see 2 concurrent viewers. Always a bit difficult to set up this live stream, slightly different from the webcam, because you're using the separate software. It's not as easy to get going as the old one used to be. But hey ho, we're getting there slowly, and hopefully like it's up and running now. Good evening. Oh, here we go. Just got a notification that I've gone live. That's good. At least that'll be getting sent out to everybody else, and hopefully like we'll be alright. A few minor teething problems today setting this up. I thought I had it off to a T, but there was a big okay. One minute the stream's healthy and the next minute it's not, and it seems to be a bit up and down this evening. Good evening anyway. I can see there's a couple joined. Say hello whoever you are and let's get started. Just go through my phone. Oh, there we go, there's an email gone out to say that I'm live. 2 missed calls. A lot of missed calls on my mobile phone. I'll clear them off as well. Right, who's here and who isn't? It's a nice cup of tea. Looks like everybody's busy tonight. Oh, Louis fishing, evening mate. I hope you're well. I was just about to wrap it up then and call it a day. It's usually there's at least someone here bang on 8 o'clock with me, like, but it's a bit slow tonight. Where are you, Louis? You don't mind me asking. Just wondering if you're in the northwest. Oh. There's a bit of a jump. There's another someone else has joined. Say hello. Only got an hour, lads. And Coronation Street's on behind me. Oh, South London, right, okay. Nice one, mate. How is it down there at the moment? Fishing wise, is it as cold down there as it is up here? Because I tell you what, mate, it's bitterly cold up here, or it has been for the last few days. Like, I've not been fishing now for the last. I only go fishing on a Saturdays, and I've not been for the last 2 Saturdays. It's been too cold, and I've had other stuff on, like, so I've not been able to get out. But I think it might be a little bit warmer where you are, mate. I reckon on average, as a northerner who looks at the weather all the time for fishing obviously, I reckon it's 3 degrees warmer down where you are than it is up here. So when we're around about 4 degrees in the daytime, like you've got 7 or 8, which is bad. But yeah, it's been bitterly cold up here, mate. Tough the last few months, yeah. 48 at the weekend. I'm bleeding. I haven't been too cold in comparison to previous years. Yeah, well, the first half of November was quite warm and mild, wasn't it? It was the same up here, but we got a bit of a cold snap about a week and a half ago, and everything's just dead. Absolutely dead. There's not many fish coming out of anywhere, and I've not even bothered going. You can always rely on a bream now, can't you? To wake you up sometime in the middle of the night, probably. It's just one of those things. It doesn't matter how cold it gets. There's always a bream. They're the bane of my life. Catching them things. I don't mind them if they're a decent size. You know, if it's double-figured fish, great. I'm quite happy, but you know, them ones about 4 or 5 pound that you just don't want. No way. Yeah. I tell you what, it's quiet tonight. There's only 3 viewers. I wish you told me you was on. I could see your names, because I can't see your name unless you're actually posting the chat. It's a shame now. Oh, someone else has joined. Evening. Whoever's just come on, feel free to chime in. It's very slow at the moment, only me and Louis talking. How did you find your way here, Louis, anyway? Just if you don't mind me asking. I always like to know how people have got here. Let's just when you think you know how to use some software, it goes to pieces. Nothing's working as it should. Okay, you find an attempt to drop in early evening till around midnight, and then they raise slightly. Yeah, exactly that, 2:30 AM. And a coot on Sunday morning as well. Excellent. Yeah, I don't know what it is with bream, mate, in the early hours of the morning. It's just, you know, when you're tucked up in your sleeping bag all nice and comfy and you don't want to get out, except for the carp. And one of them things is bound to come along. It's like sod's law, isn't it? You used to watch lives it did before, right? Okay, you stopped. And it popped up on my phone that you've gone live. Yeah, I stopped them in, when was it? It was about April last year, or April this year, something like that. Maybe March. It was around about the time we went into lockdown, or maybe just before. And I don't know, I thought I'd bring them back a few weeks ago, but I thought I'm not going to put them on my normal channel. I've got this spare YouTube channel that you're looking at now. I thought, well, I'll chuck them on there so they don't interfere. Because one of the reasons I stopped them is that they weren't very popular. They were okay with a select few, but overall, people weren't liking them at all. So I thought, well, I'll stick them on this channel instead. And they've never taken off since, though. They've never gone back to what they were, the people who were here before. You're here. A few of the other lads show the faces. Andy Clark, a regular, he always knows when I'm going live. Stephen, my fishing blog's been on a few times, a few of the other lads as well, like, but not many of the originals. And I don't know, maybe you just don't know it's here, because I don't publicise it beyond the Facebook page and a bit of a kind of a link on my community tab on the other channel. I don't publish it apart from those two things, so not a lot of people get to see it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I'm sure it'll pick back up again, like, but by the time March, April comes around, I'll probably be knocking it on the head again, because I spent the summer Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. I was on the bank fishing, so I had a good, had a good summer. I was out a lot, like, I was quite happy with it. But unfortunately, the live streams had to go during that time, like. But I suppose now, doing them on this channel, I can keep them going for as long as I want. But I'll knock them in the head when it's time to go fishing, like, probably when the clocks have gone back and the late nights are coming back. Yeah, it could happen when you want to get up for the pee or something. Yeah, that's right. At least then you're up and about. It is what it is, though, mate. It's just snotty bream, you've got to accept them, haven't you? Unless you put a bloody big bait on that they can't eat. And even then, I think they can still foul hook themselves or hook themselves. They just get everywhere, don't they? Evening, Andy Clark. Are you out the weekend? I hope so, mate. I'll have to wait and see. I'm planning to go to the kitchen place in Wallasey to pick a new kitchen on Saturday, Andy. That one that Kev mentioned. I can't remember what it's called, but they do high-end kitchens. High-end bathrooms. And I'm going to go and have a look at a few, like, and see if I can pick one and get a date booked in to have the old bathroom stripped and retiled and redone, basically. So I'm going to go and do that. Probably going to be in the showroom a few hours at least in the middle of the day, so I don't know, Andy. I might get the law rod out in the afternoon on the canal, if I can, if I've got time. Yeah, the kitchen place. Yeah, no, the bathroom place, mate. I keep going back to the kitchen because the kitchen needs doing as well. I'm gonna, even though it's had a new one put in, 2 years ago, had a new kitchen units fitted and everything like that, but it wasn't the job I wanted. It was basically a job I got lumbered with, and even though the kitchen's quite new and only 18 months old and it's never been used, it's coming out. It's going to be stripped and done again, the way I like it and the way I want it done this time. There was just unfortunate circumstances that I couldn't get it done properly in the first place, but I'm doing the bathroom first, mate, so the bathrooms needs to be picked. Once that's done, I'll be alright. I can get on with it, like, and get on with the fishing. I'd quite like to come over your way for a couple of easy runs and stuff like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Where's my bloody logos? I'm trying to get a logo in here, mate, and I'm not having much success. Got my ticker all right. There's my ticker. But no logo. Oh well, I'll sort it out at a later date. Yeah, there's only me, you and Louis on at the moment, Andy. It's quite quiet tonight. Let me just see if I can see anybody else. 8. Well, there's 6 people here in all, like, but only you and Louis are actually saying anything. Louis is still fishing. He's had a bream. But it's gone very cold. Evening, Paul Hodgson. Whip Friday. Saturday shoe. Sunday the mount. Not sure what to do. Why Saturday the shoe and Sunday the mount, Andy? Can't you do either of them on either day? Am I missing something there? If you want a social, mate, at the weekend, I'll be up for that. Obviously I need to get to the bathroom place in the morning, but I don't think I can swap my days this week, mate. I'm stuck with Saturday. So if you wanted a social, it would have to be Saturday. But I don't mind where mate, shoe or the mount. I'm easy. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Yeah, from the chickpeas vid, and you can't get cheaper than that, mate. £1 a bag. £1 for your bait for a session. You'd pay more than that for maggots. The only thing is you've got to cook them yourself. But you know, you could actually, I suppose, buy a tin, but you wouldn't get anywhere near as many. A bag of chickpeas is a lot of bait for a day. But yeah, thanks, mate. You're just getting back into your carp fishing. Brilliant. Have you found it's changed much? Mine hasn't personally, like, but I don't read magazines and stuff like that. But it's also it's got very complicated of late, like a lot of bait companies and tackle companies trying to sell crap, basically. To just how to mug people off. Weather will dictate what day and where. Yeah, I've not seen the weather forecast, Andy. I've only got Saturday, mate, and that's it. I'll grab the carp rod type if you want a social, like. Otherwise, I'll just go to canal, something like that, or I'll go back to my house and start cleaning it out, which is what I've been doing over the last few days. Like, I've been binning stuff off. Anything that can fit in the green bin's going in the green bin. If that makes sense. Evening, Mr. T. Nice to see you. Right, okay, you're the chef, Paul. Nice one. Well, you'll have no problem cooking chickpeas then. It's not exactly a big deal, is it? Soak them for 24 hours and boil them for 20 minutes and jobs are good and you're done. It's another cracking bait, mate. They're very good in winter too, chicks. Anything that's like lightly coloured in winter is alright. So, you know, like maize is yellow, that's pretty good. Chickpeas are like off-white. Anything that's highly visible is a decent bait in winter. Yeah, there's a lot of rigs going on. Yeah, far too many, mate. I just keep it simple. Is my motto. Like, I don't go mad on the rigs and stuff like that. Quite happy to just keep a simple rig and just concentrate on sticking it in the right place. That's all you've got to do. Making some of your own baits. Mainline seems to charge so much for stuff. You can blatantly make yourself. Yeah, they do it, and they're not the only companies that do it, mate. Most of them do. I used to make my own years ago, but I stopped. Basically, I stopped when I got a job, because I was unemployed. When I was unemployed, I had my own sausage gun, rollers, gardener roller balls, and I was quite happy making my own. Just a cheap base mix with some flavouring and some sweetener. It was easy, dead easy to make, but it's time consuming. So like it'd sit there, like do an 18 egg mix, and it'd take you, by the time you've started and cracked the eggs and whisked it all up with your flavours and stuff like that, added your base mix, got it ready, put it into bags ready to go in the gun for rolling, and rolled them out and boiled them. 2 hours easily for an 18 egg mix. Like it would, and it's time that could be spent fishing. So if you roll your own base, basically you could put a day aside to do it. And once I got a job and I had some money in my pocket, I was quite happy buying it, and just going fishing instead. Just pop in the shop, collect some on the way to the lake, and that's it. And I think I've been like that ever since, mate. Although I do tend to use particles quite a lot, especially in the summer months. I'll put some to soak on Thursday till Friday, boil them Friday night, take them fishing Saturday. And by doing that, I'm not wasting loads of time. I mean, it takes half a minute to throw some bait in the bucket and add a bit of water, and the actual boiling, once they come up to the boil and the simmering, I go away and watch telly and come back 20 minutes later. So I'm not like sitting there wasting my time or anything like that. So that's why I like particles, because they're cheap, and it's not taking me a lot of time. The multi-rig and the German rig. Ian, do you know what? I've never used either. Is that shameful that I've never used a multi-rig or a German rig? I know what they are. I've seen them videos of them, like, and stuff like that. If I was going to use one of them, it would probably be the German. I was thinking of kind of going down that road anyway, but with fluorocarbon instead, like an IQD rig or something like that, which is why I got these. I mean, you probably saw me ranting about these the other day, like, but there's the IQ to tie the rig. It's still on the table. I haven't tied any of them yet, but that's what I got them for. And that's kind of similar to a German, isn't it? The IQD rig. I think they are anyway. I think they're very similar. Yeah, stick them in the freezer, Paul, your baits. If you're rolling boilies, yeah, just chuck them in the freezer. If you can do it, if you can spend a day doing loads, then you don't have to go. You don't have to do anything for a couple of months, do you? You can just use what's in the freezer, but you need the space for it. I've got no freezer space, me, so I could only roll, like, I've got enough for about 18 eggs worth, and I haven't got any more than that. So basically I was rolling bait from week to week. What are the chances of a carp straightening a Camazan B175? Yes, Leroy, they can. It's happened to me once or twice, not very often, but it does happen. They're not a hook to use near snags. So if you've got like lily pads and the fish can make it into them, then you don't want to be fishing tight up against them, with the B175. They're great for open water fishing, you know, where you can wear the fish down and take your time, but if you've got to clamp down and hold that fish and you can't give it any line, then the chances are the hook will straighten. They're a medium hook, mate. They're not a heavy one. They're not really strong. Why, have you had any open house? Yeah, just take it easy with them, mate. Play your fish on a light clutch. Don't use them near snags. Use a heavier hook, and you'll be fine. But for most of my fishing, the B175s are okay. I don't fish snags a lot these days, and if I do, I use a heavier hook. But the B175s are great, mate, as long as you don't skull drag your fish. Right. Hello to Ian as well. 1978, Ian McHale, thank you for popping in. Couldn't resist the price. Never can I. Did you order a box of 100 or 25? I buy mine in boxes of 100, and I only have to buy a new box every, I don't know. I'm still on my last box of 100 from about 12 years ago, something like that. So they're cheap, and I think a box was under a tenner. I think I paid £9 for my last box or something like that. So they're nice and cheap. Have you seen the videos, Adam? I haven't, Sandy. Send us a link to one of them, mate, and I'll have a look. I didn't know he was putting videos on anywhere. I'll have a look though, see what he's up to. Is Bristol tier 3, Paul? Is that right? Wow, I didn't know anyone was in tier 3, to be honest. Everywhere I've seen now, it's tier 2. Wow. Are they that good, are they, Andy? Is it about his summer fishing by any chance? Because I know he had some decent fish, didn't he, out of the Mere. Tatton Mere, that is. Or not Tatton Mere. You can't travel anywhere. Oh, right, okay. I didn't know that, like, the Bristol was tier 3. It must be quite bad down your way. It's not a time to be relaxing either, and, you know, travelling and mixing and stuff like that. Like, it's a bad time. I know they're rolling out the vaccine, but once that vaccine's out and everybody's had it, that COVID's going to spread like wildfire, because people are just going to want to go back to normal, and you don't want to jump the gun. At least make sure you got your vaccine first before you go out anywhere. But it's likely a lot of people are going to catch it, and it's going to go through the population like a dose of salt. It's certainly not over the amount of people dying. It's not over by a long shot, even with the vaccine coming online. But I would be careful, mate, is all I'll say. Try and stay the hell away from anyone. Thanks, Andy. That was I'm sure you heard that. It's just popped through now. Yeah, right, okay. I'll have a nosy at that, mate. And another one. Yeah, I'll have a nosy at him after, Andy, and we'll see. Yeah, we can travel, Paul. I mean, I know Andy Clark, and he lives in North Wales, and I'm in Wirral, and for the last few months I've not been able to travel into North Wales because they've been locked down, and it's been terrible not being able to go anywhere and stuff like that. I've literally just had to stay local and do very little. So I can understand your frustration there if you're in the tier 3 area and you can't travel. I'd be well fed up with that, mate. Bites are quiet now anyway, so it's all good. Yeah, true. What month you guys recommend getting back on the lakes? Well, I'll be back on them on the 1st of January, Paul. Make no mistake. Yeah, cheers, Andy. You can hear the phone's pinging like mad in the background, like, as well as the the notifications on one of the PCs are going off as well. So I'll have a look at them after, mate. Yeah, I'll be back on it. Well, I'm never really off the bank, to be honest, Paul. I mean, I'll carry on fishing through December. A lot of the time I don't go for carp though. I'll swap and go lure fishing, or I'll fish for pike, something like that instead, just because they're more suited to cold than carp are. But once it's been cold for 5 or 6 weeks, the carp usually settle down and they're into a pattern by then, and they'll feed again. So it's usually Christmas time I'm back on the bank. Probably Christmas Eve or Boxing Day, or over the holiday period I'll start getting the carp rods out again. And next year I'll be back on the bank on New Year's Day. It's a bit of a tradition for me. Don't go out partying anymore. Gave that up years ago. Like I used to go out on the town on New Year's Eve. Well, I used to go fishing on New Year's Eve till dark. Then come home, have me tea, get changed, go out, party till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get me head down for a couple of hours, and then go fishing on New Year's Day. So it was like double fishing day with a nice house in the middle. But I'm too old for that now. I can't do it anymore. So nowadays, like, I'll go fishing on New Year's Eve, providing I don't have to work, and I'll fish New Year's Day as well. And obviously the first Saturday in the month as well. But I like New Year's Day because everybody's usually hungover and there's never many people on the bank. You get the odd one or two, but mostly, well, I usually do fall asleep, mate, but I wait until I'm at the lake with my rods cast out, and then I'll get my head down. I'm done then. I'm quite happy sleep most of the day, just waiting for a rod to go off. Iron Oaks, tips on the Liverpool Leeds Canal. I've never fished it myself. Well, I have, but I was a kid and I fished the Leeds end rather than the Liverpool end, and just float fishing. I've never actually lure fished it or anything like that, and I've not fished the Liverpool end at all, but I've got a few mates who do. What kind of fishing are you doing, Mo? So you just like float fishing for roach, perch and stuff like that, or are you a lure angler or a pike angler? It very much depends what kind of fishing you're doing. Monster crab's alright, good bait that, Mogs, for barbel and for carp. I like pellets for my barbel. I just use mixed pellets on the hook and in the feeder. Both, but you got to break off on a lure at the boot end. When you say break off, you mean you snagged or you lost a fish? Yeah, I've done okay on New Year's Day, Paul. I once caught a 20 on New Year's Day. I've only ever done it once, but I had a £20 common about going back about 14 years now. I had a £20 common on New Year's Day. and I backed it up with a 19.5 as well, the double header. But sometimes it's just about going. Sometimes I might get a single or a low double most of them probably are blank because of the time of year, but it's just nice to be out in the fresh air on New Year's Day. You lost the fish, unlucky mate. Wherever you lost it from, mate, I'd try the area again. Never heard of raised tackle, mate. I'm over the water in Wirral, so basically I won't pay the tunnel money, mate, to go over to Liverpool. It's about £1.70 each way. So before I've even started fishing, I'm over £3 down on a day, just in tunnel fees. So I won't pay them. He's a rat. Raider rat. I've never even heard of raised tackle, mate. Honestly, the only place I know in Liverpool is Tasker's and Johnson's. They're the only two. I didn't even know there was any other tackle shops in Liverpool besides those two, because they're the only ones I've been to. I used to go to Johnson's quite regularly when I fished Walton Hall Park, but the only other one I've been to is Tasker's. I only know where that is because it's not far from Anfield, and I definitely know my way there. Yeah, Tasker's is alright. The last time I was in there, like, it was packed with lure stuff. It was like lure fishing heaven. And every time I've been in there, I've gone in there for like one specific thing and come out £100 light. So once you get in there and you see all these things, you go, oh yeah, I love that. And you think, oh, I probably spent £50 there, they've gone over the top, and you get to the till and they ask for like £100. I'm like, But yeah, they sell bait boats as well, do they? Right, okay. I've had a bait boat, like, but I don't own one anymore. I sold it and bought a decent set of rods instead. Your missus has bought you some reels for Christmas. Yeah, 8 reels already. I think I've got more than that, Andy. I've got at least 8 just for carp. I've got 2 Shimano's, 2 bait runners, Shimano bait runners, 3 Ultegra CI4s, and 3 Power Aero CI4s. So I've got 8. And then obviously I've got some smaller reels for my lure rods and stuff like that. I've got a multiplier as well. So I'm well into double figures when it comes to reels, mate. I certainly don't want any more. Trying to get a bivvy. Yeah, they're expensive these days as well, Mogs. Just the price that they're charging for gear these days, and they're not doing discounts anymore. If you notice, like, if you go and ask them for a deal, they won't do it. They're just pushing the price of everything up, like, because everything's so hard to get hold of. It's not a good time to be buying tackle, mate, at all. I'm quite fortunate, I've got all mine, so I don't have to worry about it. But I think the best thing you can do, mate, is go on the Facebook groups and have a look at some of the second-hand groups, and, you know, decide what bivvy you want, and then see if you can find a second-hand one, or one that you'd be happy using, even if it's not the exact one you want. Just got myself a cheap spinning rod. Plan to go fishing with my bro who likes his lure fishing. Yeah, definitely go with him. If he likes his lure fishing, like, he'll be able to teach you quite a lot. Lure's full of canals full of snags, is it? Jig heads, mate. Definitely go with jig heads. And just a rubber shad of some kind. There would be my take on it. A jig head, I don't know whether you've seen it. It's a little ball. I can't really do it with my hands. get a hook shape like that. There's a ball at the top and a hook going round, but when you're pulling it back, because of the angle of the jig, the hook sits on the bottom with the hook up, so it's not turned down, it can't get in the bottom or anything like that. They do still get snagged up, but not as much. So you should be okay with jig heads. Apart from that, a shallow diver, yeah. Problem with shallow divers is they cost about £6, £7, something like that. Whereas the jigs, you get 3 jig heads in a pack for a couple of quid, and the like a curly tail that Moog said, or little rubber shads at only about £1.50. So altogether, for the price of one shallow diving lure, you could get like 3, 4, 5, 6 jig heads and lures to mount them on, or lures to mount on them, I should say. So I'd go with the jig heads, mate. They're cheap, and you don't lose that many of them, and if you do, they're quite easy to replace. Yeah, I think that is quite thoughtful instead of boxer shorts and socks. It's I'm getting socks, mate. I think that's all I'm gonna get. I've had to think about what I want for Christmas, like, and apart from a new bathroom, I can't really think of anything else. Drawing delights, you knew. Welcome, mate. Could you tell me your personal favourite bait? Probably chickpeas. I don't really think I've got a favourite, but if you had to pin me down, it would be maize, chickpeas, and tiger nuts. Those 3. I like fishing with particles, and they all work really well, and they're quite cheap and easy to prepare. They're probably the 3 baits I've used the most over the last 30 years. Yeah, they're alright, the jig heads, Paul, they're okay. I've never used the Ronnie Rig Mogs. They're not the be all and end all, mate. There's a lot going on with the Ronnie Rig, isn't there? Like, everybody's using it these days. It's getting pushed by everybody, especially the tackle companies and things like that. But here's the thing, right? Do a little bit of maths for you. Right, a Ronnie Rig. You want to start making Ronnie rigs, you've got to go out and buy a packet of hooks, which cost what, £6 or £7. There's a swivel mounted on the hook itself. There's a swivel that you put on the hook at the eye, and another swivel at the other end of your rig. So you need 3 swivels instead of 1. So you need three packets of swivels at a cost of about what, £3-4 each. You need float stops, little stops to go on the hook to stop the swivel going up. That's another £3. Some shrink tube or something to go over the swivel that attaches to the hook, where you can detach the hook. You need something to go over that. That's another £3. By the time you add it all up, you need about 40 quid's worth of bits. Whereas the rig I use, you need a packet of hooks and a packet of swivels. The hooks are like £4 and the swivels are £3 or £4 as well, and that's it. And you obviously you need your hook length in the middle, whatever it is, whether it's fluorocarbon or stiff, whatever. For your Ronnie rig, that'll cost you about 10 or 12 quid a spool. Well, it'll cost you at least 12. And all I use is a bit of braid. So they're pushing these Ronnie rigs on you, but you're spending a lot more on tackle. And I just don't think it's necessary, mate. That's why I don't use them. They're ridiculous. And it's just a spinning rig. A lot of them are getting banned as well, like as Ian's just pointed out at the bottom. They cause mouth damage, or the hook gets stuck in the landing net and it can tear in the fish's mouth. It's not a very good rig. I'm not overly keen on it, but yeah, they're getting used a lot, and I think they're being pushed purely because they're a money maker, a money spinner, and the people making bait. Here's a little thing for you, right? I'll come back. I'll have to scroll back up to the top, but I need to say this: bait companies make most of their money on pop-ups. You think about it, right? They do a kilo of bait and they sell it to you for like 10 or 12 quid in the shops. You can get it for maybe 6.50, 7 quid if you go straight to a manufacturer, but they charge you that much for a kilo of bait, right? If they roll a kilo of pop-ups, and there's no difference, you know, a kilo of bait is, you know, so many eggs, half a dozen eggs, a kilo of base mix, and you know it takes so much time to do the mix, roll it all out and boil it. A pop-up mix is no different. It takes the same amount of time, right? Your same amount of eggs, you know, you've got to roll it, stiffen it up, stick it through your rollers and boil it, exactly the same. No difference in time. But when you buy a tub of pop-ups, or you roll a kilo of pop-ups, by the time you've divided it into tubs, that kilo of pop-ups costs about 50 quid. So they get £6.50 off you for a kilo of bait, but they get 50 quid from the pop-ups. So you've got bait companies saying, yeah, use loads of pop-ups, get on the Ronnie rigs, and you've got tackle companies going, yeah, get on the Ronnie rigs, because you're going to buy all these swivels and hooks and line and all kinds of other crap. And I think the two of them, between them, are absolutely double teaming carp anglers. You know, one of them's fisting you and the other one's got the dick in your mouth and they're spit roasting you, basically. That's my thoughts on it, personally. I think that they're having people off, and I'm not a fan of the Ronnie rig, and I certainly won't be buying the bits to make them myself. They can get stuffed. I'm quite happy just with a basic carp rig. It's all you need. So there you go. Now I've said that, I'll scroll back and see what everybody's saying. No, they're not Corda socks, Ian, definitely not. I wouldn't be seen dead in anything Corda. I won't be buying any Corda clothing at all, not a t-shirt, a coat, socks, undies, nothing. I would not wear their logo on anything. Yeah, try to do something different. Everybody uses them, and the whole idea is that you be different. So you're right, Paul. 360, yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. Venice is underwater. Don't think they've been dredging out the silts during lockdown. Is it? Well, it's always been close to being underwater anyway, isn't it? You can tie hair rigs regularly. Yeah, that's all you need. Just a bog standard hair rig. Yeah, Mark, this is what I was saying earlier. They see you coming with the rig videos. Yeah, someone's got to tell Paul. You know, they're filth as far as I'm concerned, mate. My whole YouTube channel is about doing them out of money, basically. That's what I want to do. I want to keep things cheap. I don't think they should be ripping people off the way they do, and I'm quite happy to share ways of doing things that are much cheaper than a tackle company or a bait company can do. Because at the end of the day, they're all in it for profits. There's only one thing on their mind, mate, and that's money. You're a mark, and they're after getting money out of your pockets and into their own, and they'll sell you any little crappy little thing to give you more confidence than that they can. You know, they're like snake oil salesmen. That's it. They are literally tackle companies and bait companies. They're snake oil salesmen. That's what they are. And that's been my opinion of them for a long time. That's why this channel's unsponsored. They used to come to me in the early days, like, but I've said no to all of them. basically told a load of them to get lost. But yeah, snake oil salesman, Lucy, IMAs, thumbs up, triple thumbs up. I hope you're well, mate. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not a fan of bait companies or tackle companies. I never have been, and never will be. But such is life. I'll keep showing people how to do things cheaper, and that's how my channel works. I'm not really interested in sponsorships and stuff like that. I take an even dimmer view of the people who are hanging out for sponsors, and they can't wait to stick a logo on their channel to say I'm sponsored by, I'm part of team Carp, and you should buy this. They've got no shame at all, like, and no what's the word I'm looking for? They've got no no morals. Just they'll flog themselves and try and recommend stuff. Get onto some crappy little carp team and start recommending stuff just to try and get a bit of credibility. It's absolutely shameful, and I'm not a fan of them either. Like, you stand on your own 2 feet in carp fishing. Your experience is what gets you through, and you learn as you go along. But these people, like, who are joining carp teams and trying to get sponsorships and stuff like that, they're pathetic. They really are. Yeah, and quite a lot of them have only been carp fishing 10 minutes, Lucy. You're absolutely right, mate. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless at some of them. They've been, you see them in the profiles on Instagram, like carp fishing for 6 months, proud team member of some Mickey Mouse just started carp company, which is basically a bloke who's bought a couple of thousand swivels off wish.com and is now packaging them up and trying to sell them. It's a joke, it really is. I wonder what the world's come to. It's just, it's ridiculous. Right, cheapest bivvies, chairs, that's quite a hurdle to get over when you're starting off Foxy or stuff, and it's reasonable. Yeah, I've had some Fox gear in the past, like the chairs I like, Paul, are Chubb. My own chair is a Chubb low light. It's got no padding on it or anything like that. It's just one of those canvas ones. But I've got a bad back, so and it keeps me it keeps me in the right posture when I'm fishing. So I quite like it. They're not massively expensive Chubb chairs, but when it comes to comfort, like on the bank and stuff like that, I don't spare any expense. I don't worry about the price. I'll have it. If it's good for me back, like I'm quite happy with it. I've bought and sold quite a few. The Nash chairs I thought were awful. And the Nash Indulgence chair, I thought that was a pile of crap. Sold it. But I've the one chair I've kept is a Chubb low light. Tackle shop trying to sell me a Ridge Monkey tackle box for 50 quid. No thanks, I'll take the NGT for $11.99. I've got an even better suggestion for you, Leroy. Go to B&Q or Wix DIY. They've got plastic boxes, which are basically tackle boxes. All mine look like a Fox box, except they cost a lot less. I think one was $4.99, and I've got a big massive one here somewhere. Here, I'll show you. There you go. That is an 18 compartments organiser from Wix. Now, does that not look like a Fox box? This is an empty one. $7.99, mate. $7.99 in Wicks. Just put that away. Yeah, Leroyd. So that was the biggest one, $7.99. They've got a medium one, which is a couple of quid cheaper, and a smaller one, which is a couple of quid cheaper again. So they start about 3 or 4 quid, 5 or 6 quid, and then 7 or 8 quid. Yeah, 3 times the size it was. That's right. But you know, it's one of them. It's for putting like screws and roll plugs in and stuff like that. You know, if you're a worker. But I mean, it even looks like a Fox box. If you stuck a Fox sticker on it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, I don't think. So that's what I use for mine. I've got loads of them. I've got Laws, boxes full of Laws. They're all the same box. Those from Wicks or from B&Q. I've got a few from B&Q as well. But they're all I use for tackle boxes, the same thing over and over again. Every time I'm in there, you know, I might be picking up bits and pieces to do the house or tools or stuff like that, and I'll walk past the boxes, the storage boxes, and oh, come on, I'll have one of them. I'll just take a spare. So I've got stacks of them. That's empty. It's been sitting down there for a couple of years at least. Nothing in it. I bought it for barbel, and then decided it was too big. And I think now I'm just going to use it as a spare tackle box, so eventually it will get filled with bits and then stored in a wardrobe with stuff that I don't use, or I might sell it. I don't know. It's a big box anyway. It's quite a size, as big as a big Fox box, but you know, 8 quid. You get more in that than you would in the Squidge Monkey one. And yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Ridge Monkey, by the way. I think most of their gear is a pile of crap. They made the money ripping off carp anglers with toasters that were basically for sale for like 6 or 7 quid. They were charging 20 quid for them, and they shafted everybody. Most of the stuff they make is stuff that's not for carp fishing, but they buy it in bulk from China, stick it in their own boxes and charge you a load of money for it. I don't think they've innovated anything. Everything's, you know, from somewhere else for something else with Ridge Monkey, and I'm not a fan of theirs at all. Like, I try and avoid their stuff as much as I can. The only thing I've got of theirs is a bait bucket. I've got a Ridge Monkey bait bucket, which I use for my barbel fishing. Apart from that, and I think I've got like a hook tool that, you know, like you can use a loop to tie your knots, and there's a hook on it as well, and a few other little bits and pieces. It's a multi-tool that does about 5 things when it comes to rig tying, and I only bought that because they didn't have a Fox one in at the time. Ridge Monkey boilie choppers. I've never used one, Paul. I've got a Ridge Monkey bait bucket, but I've never used a chopper or anything like that. To be honest, mate, I just crumple them up with my fingers. Just get the boilies in a bucket, and then I'll break them up with my fingers, or, you know, chop them up with a knife or something like that. Just do it that way. It takes a bit longer, but you know, it saves you having to pay for the boilie chopper. Those Corda ones are rubbish. The ones that you like pushing down a tube and they go either side of a blade, so it comes out in halves. I've heard loads of people complain about them and say they break dead easy. Hell no, Mr. Tyler, I would never use a Ridge Monkey hook. Not a chance. Yeah, I wouldn't trust their gear as far as I could spit. Or their line, or anything else that they do, to be honest. Head torches is another one. Get yourself a Petzl. Petzl make head torches. Don't buy a rechargeable Ridge Monkey one. It's just someone else's with their name on. Get the missus's blender out. Yeah, you can stick them in a blender, turn it into boilie crumb. It'll blend down really fine in a blender. Maybe a little bit too far if you want, you know, lots of broken bits, all different sizes and stuff like that. But I'm happy doing it in my fingers. If your bait's not rock hard, then it's not so hard to do. You'd only really need enough to go in the PVA bag, don't you, or something like that. Let's see, got some good pans in the Go Outdoors shop. Yeah. Yeah, Go Outdoors and pans. Anything that's not made for carp fishing is always cheaper. So, you know, Go Outdoors for your pans. I got my pan set is a cook set from Millets. It's a lot cheaper than anything with a carp fishing badge on. Yeah, you definitely want to bank after that. Gardner CBR hooks in size 6. Yeah, Gardner do decent hooks. I know a lot of people I know use the muggers. Let's have a look. I've used them a few times. Very strong, but what you're saying with the overpricing, all the big brands are the same, mate. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. If you want cheap hooks, go to a trout section. You'll find a lot of the same patterns of carp hook masquerading as trout hooks in the trout fishing section of an online trout store. A lot of them are the same because they're all the same patterns, manufactured in the same place, aren't they, over in China? Yeah, separate blender. Yeah, as Lucy says, mate, you can just do a couple of quick hits in the blender, so turn on and off, and you can get them from dust to chops. Mine always ended up as dust when I used a blender, but you know, they call that boilie crumb, and that's all right in its own right. Like boilie crumb, it serves a purpose. You can certainly chuck it in your ground bait and it works quite well. Yeah, it's definitely a save money channel, this one. Well, my main carp channel is anyway. It's the way I'm built and the way I am. I come from an era when you didn't pay for tuition. You either learnt it from a book or you went fishing with someone who knew how to do it, and that's how it was in the 70s. Like, I don't like the way things have gone, you know, like charging for tuition to show people how to tie a PVA bag and stuff like that. It's I'm charging hundreds of pounds for it. I don't know how people have the brass neck to do it and how they manage to get away with it. It's ridiculous. The way the world has evolved is, I'm not comfortable with it. Not happy with it, not comfortable with it. Which is why I started my YouTube channel, like, just to keep things on the cheap. And if you watch my videos, like, you get the instructions for free. Don't suppose it'll stop people trying to charge, like, or trying to make a living out of it, but as far as I'm concerned, fishing's not really something you should be making a living out of. It's a hobby. I suppose someone's got to run a tackle shop, but the constant buy this, do this. If you're not on this bait, you're not going to catch. If you're not using this rig, you're not going to catch. It's all too much. Yeah, cheers, Paul. I just noticed it's 4 minutes past 9. and these live streams are only an hour long these days, like, so I'm on overtime, so I'm not going to be long myself, Paul. But thanks for popping in, mate, anyway, and cheers. I'll speak to you soon. Yeah, right. Paul has given me a timely reminder that it's after 9 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap it up, lads. Nice to have a bit of a rant and a bit of a pop at everyone and everything. Nothing better to put you in a good mood. So I'm going to call it a day, lads, anyway, and I'll say good night, and yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and we can go over a few bits of other stuff as well, if you want me to rant about baits and rigs, I will. But if you want to talk about something else, that's fine as well. Right, cheers guys, thanks for being here, all of you, and I'll end it now, and I'll say take it easy, guys. Cap the wide cape, pony blow, go on a couple of casts. Yeah, that sounds about right for Corda. You'll learn, Leroy. Get yourself a hook sharpener, mate, is one thing I would say. You need a decent hook sharpener. Cheers, Ian. Cheers, Leroy. Lucy, nice to see you again, mate. Mr. Tyler, as always. Ian McHale. Who else was on earlier? Mogs. And going right back to the start, he was on first. Louis. Nice one, Louis. Thanks for getting things started tonight. And I hope you get yourself out of lockdown soon. Right, cheers guys. Andy, I'll speak to you later. I'll end the stream now. See ya. Oh, need to click end.